Thank you, Dan. Good evening once again. Precious little Christmas cheer on Teesside or in the Potteries. The Championship is no respecter of history or a sense of entitlement, and both Middlesbrough and Stoke City risk being spat out into the lower leagues unless they shape up pretty quickly. Michael O'Neill has at least partially stopped the rot at Stoke, but Borough have continued to sleepwalk towards the bottom. Injuries haven't helped, and Jonathan Woodgate unable to call on a number of senior players tonight, including Darren Randolph, their goalkeeper and top goal scorer as well, Britt Assombalonga. Two 19-year-olds come into the side. Stephen Walker for his full debut, and Jed Spence will also start on the right-hand side of midfield as a wing-back, we believe. Suspensions, of course, for Marcus Brown and Paddy McNair following their red cards at Swansea last week, and Marvin Johnson has dropped to the bench. It is pairs in goal: Spence, Howson, Ayala, Fry and Coulson, a back five defensively, with Clayton, Saville and Tavernier in midfield, Fletcher and Walker in attack. Stoke have no lack of players, but neither Michael O'Neill or managers before him have been able to consistently find a winning blend in the Championship. Two changes for them as well. Tom Edwards drops out along with Sam Vokes. Vokes is on the bench. Edwards not involved in the 18. Tommy Smith comes in at right back, and Lee Gregory, their signing from Millwall, will play down the middle. It is Butland in goal, Smith, Bart, Lindsay and Ward the back four, Ince and McLean the wide players, Allen, Klukas and Cousins in midfield, with Gregory in attack. And the two benches for Middlesbrough, they really are short of numbers. Mejias the goalkeeper, Johnson wing, Liddell, Gusted, 17-year-old Nathan Wood and 20-year-old Tyrone O'Neill. For Stoke, Vokes, Martin Zindi, Hogan, Powell, Collins, Juve and Davis. There are a number of players who would believe they are much better than the bottom of the Championship, both in the Stoke starting lineup and on the bench, Neil Redfern, but they've got to prove it.
Absolutely, yeah. You know, these games, it's a test of character. You know, and it's about getting the points, about getting the result, about starting the game really well. Both sides know the outcome and what it'll mean if they don't get the points. So there's very, very much a lot at stake in this game.
And it's Middlesbrough who will get the game underway. Oliver Langford is our referee for this match. And the footballing weekend is underway on the TalkSport network, and we begin here on TalkSport 2, the home of the EFL, with a massive game at the foot of the Championship. Middlesbrough and Stoke City, both in the Premier League in recent years, but both staring at hands which could send them down into League One if they don't improve in the second half of the season. And it's Middlesbrough in the red shirts, white shorts and red socks, defending the North Stand away to our left, and Stoke City in all black as Johnny Howson neatly steps away from McLean on this near side. And now it's Clayton wide towards the far side and Fry. A long ball down the Borough left, but it's beyond Tavernier and Walker, and it's out for a throw into Stoke City. And looking through the formations, are they as we believe, Neil?
Yes, definitely. It's a three at the back, three centre backs, wing backs in advance, both Spence and Coulson, and it's Clayton that's sat a little bit more central, with Saville and Tavernier either side of him. Started really well, Borough, very measured, moved the ball about quickly. Stoke looking to press.
The lowest scorers in the Championship against the team with the most defeats, but it's Tom Ince now coming forward for Stoke City on the right hand side, cutting into the penalty area, chopping back, and the left footed shot is deflected and loops high over the top for a Stoke corner.
Yeah, great run by Ince. All he had in his mind was attacking the wing back Spence, and he took him inside onto Ince's good foot on his left foot, and he curls that shot towards the far corner, but it deflected away for a corner. Good break by Stoke.
Daniel Ayala was the player who was in the way of that shot, and with 90 seconds played, Stoke have the game's first corner here on TalkSport 2 at the Riverside Stadium, and it's James McLean who will take it. Plenty of movement towards the near post. It's flicked on by Clayton across his own penalty area. Arching his back to try and nod it towards goal was Gregory, but Middlesbrough will clear, but Stoke quickly have it back. And now Stephen Ward. A long diagonal ball wide towards the right-hand side over the head of Danny Bart, who is still forward, a former Middlesbrough player from a couple of seasons ago. Now Allen gathers from Ince on the edge of the area. Bart plays it short infield to Cousins, and it's neat and tidy from Stoke. Wide to the far side again, and Smith Smith with a high cross into the area over the head of Gregory, nodded away by Ayala, and McLean will gather on this near side again, and McLean will try and break towards the byline, and he finally delivers a cross in which is initially blocked. McLean goes back towards Ward, a high ball swung in, headed away at the far post by Coulson, and at the moment Borough can't get out here.
Yeah, they're finding it very difficult to clear the lines, Borough.
Here is Ince again on the right corner of the penalty area, the back heel releasing Smith. His low cross in though is deflected away by Clayton, and it will be a throw-in for Stoke on the far side. We played 3 minutes at the Riverside, and it's the Potters who have been the dominant team.
Yeah, just a look at those both strikers for Borough, Walker and Fletcher, dropping in to do defensive duties as well. But when Borough do regain possession, they can't seem to find the pass to relieve the pressure.
Both managers already on the edge of their technical areas as Allen gathers for Stoke on the far side. Looks to work the 1-2 with Ince, but Coulson should be able to cut that ball off, and eventually, despite the challenge of Allen, he does, and it will be a throw-in to Middlesbrough on the far side. And Dan spoke before kick-off about the number of academy players in this Middlesbrough team. Dave Parnaby did such a terrific job over many, many years. Jonathan Woodgate, of course, somebody who came through that system before moving on to Leeds as a young player, but they can look young as a team, and that they're doing so at the moment.
Yeah, they are. I mean, what they've done is they've got back into a compact shape, and they're making it difficult for Stoke. Stoke are in the ascendancy, got good control possession, getting the ball wide to Ince, getting the ball wide to McLean. They've got a really good shape about them, Stoke, but they just need to relieve the pressure a little bit, Borough.
Borough 20th in the table, 3 points clear of Stoke, who are inside the relegation zone, 22nd, currently 2 points behind Luton. 2 wins and 10 defeats away from home for Stoke so far this season. Only Southend have lost more games in the entire Football League, and Middlesbrough have gained 16 of their 21 points here at the Riverside Stadium, where there have only been 19 goals in total so far in the 11 games played. They've been solid at the back, but often very blunt going forward. Their 4 victories so far this season, all by a goal to nil against sides either 17th or lower in the current table. Allen delivers a cross in from Stoke from the right hand side, which is blocked at the near post by Ayala, and now there's an opportunity for Middlesbrough to break with Saville down the centre, quickly forward towards Walker, who challenges and fouls Ward as it goes back towards Butland, and it's a free kick for Stoke City.
Initial excellent play by Fletcher. He's just dropped himself in on Cousins, the 24, trying to stop the City midfield player getting on the ball, but as that ball's cleared, it drops to Fletcher. It's a great first touch, and he brings the midfield into play really well. Just a poor choice for the second ball through.
And hundreds of camera phones are switched on all around the stadium here with 5 minutes played, as the Middlesbrough crowd show their appreciation in what is a pretty sparse crowd here inside the Riverside Stadium, as Ince is almost released by Smith on the far side, but the ball was just beyond him, and it's gathered by Ainsley Pears, son of the Borough legend Stephen, in the Middlesbrough goal away to our left hand side.
See, that's a clever run from Ince, Nigel. That initial pass there, when you play 5 at the back, the space in between the wing backs and the outside centre backs is really vulnerable for Borough, and it's a little run from out to in by Ince, and he nearly gets in there. You know, they've looked for it a couple of times now, Stoke. Just need to be careful, Borough.
Spence on this near side looks to move forward, another 19-year-old who is very, very quick, but he'll have to be careful of what's coming back the other way with James McLean also on this near side, and Stephen Ward behind him, 2 Republic of Ireland internationals who are currently plying their trade in the relegation zone of the Championship. Now Ward heads it forward for McLean on this near side, but it's met by Howson, and I'm sure Jonathan Woodgate would like to use his talents further up the field, but is operating as one of 3 central defenders because basically they've got nobody else.
No, and what he is an experienced player. Johnny Howson is a good performer wherever you pick him, wherever you select him. Just been flattened there by Cousins, looking to get away with a booking there. Cousins still rolling about on the floor, Howson. But just going back to Johnny Howson, he's a really good professional, and he's fitted in really well in one or two positions. He plays a right back, right side centre back in a three. We all know he can play in midfield, and I think midfield is obviously his best position. But it's all answered to the pump at the moment for Borough.
And this is 100th start for Middlesbrough. Player who was promoted with both Norwich and Leeds United earlier in his career. Now Ayala with a long ball forward, which is cut out by Lindsay, who was so impressive in the Barnsley side, which got promotion back to the Championship last season. And there has been such a high turnover of players at Stoke City, but mainly inwards. They made 11 signings during the summer. They spent £50 million under Gary Rowett during the previous campaign, and eventually financial fair play will cause them issues if they don't get people off the wage bill in January.
Well, it's got to do. I mean, you look at the quality that's on show tonight.
You say quality on paper.
Well, yeah, I mean, it hasn't happened. That's the thing. And it's got to get these quality players, these top players, they've got to get them performing. That's Michael O'Neill's main job. I mean, what he has done is he's halted the rot, like you said. They've had a couple of clean sheets. They look more solid as a side, in this shape that they're playing. And they've got a real threat in wide areas, that's obvious.
3 wins, 1 draw and 3 defeats under Michael O'Neill so far, as Coulson comes forward now for Middlesbrough, but the cross is cut out by Smith, and it will be a throw-in for Borough, level with the edge of the Stoke penalty area on the far side, the Middlesbrough left, on a bitterly cold night here on Teesside. There's been heavy rain all day, but it's dry now, but very cold. And the supporters rather rattling around this stadium at the moment as Fletcher tries to ride the challenge of Lindsay, but it's back towards Jack Butland, who clears long downfield up towards the halfway line, wearing a very lurid yellow goalkeeping outfit for Stoke City. Now McLean finding Allen. There's been speculation he could be on his way back to the Premier League during the transfer window, as well as Ince rides one challenge but then runs into Fry, and Pears clears downfield again for Middlesbrough. Cousins losing out in the air to Saville, and here is Fletcher coming deep again. Coulson down the left hand side for Middlesbrough, and the wing backs will try and get forward, and Coulson lost out there and was almost in trouble, but Ince couldn't keep the ball in play, and Borough have the throw-in.
Yeah, there's a real interesting battle between the two systems and two styles of play at this moment in time. The wing backs are getting forward quite well for Borough. It's just flattening Stoke off a little bit with Ince and McLean having to track back, and they're getting down the sides of both centre backs with the runs of Fletcher. They just need a little bit more quality after that.
Now Tavernier. And we welcome listeners to TalkSport here on TalkSport 2 for Middlesbrough against Stoke in the Championship. It is goalless so far with 10 minutes played. No chances to either side, but Stoke City have been marginally the more impressive. They start this game inside the relegation zone. Middlesbrough are just above them. And elsewhere this week on TalkSport 2, Aston Villa against Southampton with John Motson in the Premier League tomorrow at 3 o'clock, as well as live Championship, Rugby Union and World Darts coverage. And don't forget the FIFA World Club Final, 5:30 tomorrow evening, Liverpool against Flamengo. And England's Cricket Tour of South Africa, exclusive to TalkSport 2. That starts on Boxing Day as well. You can download the app, swipe left to the orange TalkSport 2 logo and hit play. Neil Redfern is alongside me. 2 low-scoring sides, Neil, so it's no surprise neither goalkeeper's really been troubled so far.
No, I mean, both look like they're lacking a little bit of confidence, to be honest with you, in that final third. Stoke have made the better running at this moment in time. But to say they've got this much youth in the side, Borough, they're making a good fist of it.
And now Fletcher finding Spence, clipped on towards Walker, and the 19-year-old I think may have been offside, but he never gathered the ball anyway, and Jack Butland will pick up in the penalty area away to our right. And you can listen online to TalkSport 2 on your DAB radio, or ask your smart speaker to play TalkSport 2 as Stoke try and build on the far side. The most defeats in the Championship so far this season against the team Middlesbrough with the fewest number of goals. But Tavernier looking to change that now for Borough. An early ball down the side. Walker will chase into the area, but he was just muscled off it inside the box by Danny Bart, and it's gathered by Butland once again. And for listeners on TalkSport, just to emphasise the point, this Stoke team with the players on paper at least, they should not be where they are.
It should be in the top 6, realistically. And obviously that would be the question I would ask the players. Why are we down here? Why are we down at the bottom of the division? There's no way they should be where they are. I mean, they're performing quite well. They've started well tonight. They're confident. There's no lack of confidence through the players. They're playing a good brand of football. It's attacking.
Now a long ball forward for Walker again, and Bart will just shoulder him off the ball, turns and clears. Here is Spence now for Borough, back towards Clayton on halfway, and Ayala will gather and go square towards Dale Fry again. So a big game at the bottom of the Championship. Commentary continuing on TalkSport 2 with 12 minutes played. It's Middlesbrough 0, Stoke City 0.
Yeah, it seems to be a problem for Stoke when Borough get the wing backs forward, the 3 at the back. They seem to have carte blanche on the ball. They've only Gregory down the middle to occupy him, which is obviously a difficult task. 3v1, Borough getting out all the time.
And Ince McLean are looking to make the pitch as big as they can, but that's the issue when they do get the ball in those sort of situations. And Middlesbrough could almost sacrifice one of those central defenders now and maybe get somebody a bit further forward, but they're in a very fragile situation in terms of playing staff and mind state at the moment. 13 minutes played, 0-0.
Yeah, I think the big question as well is, Nigel, is that obviously both sides don't want to get beat. You know, there's that there at the back of it, but sometimes you've got to be brave enough to go and get the win. And it's who can impress the style on the other, or the system of play on the other. And at this moment in time, it's Stoke who's got the upper hand.
And you're listening to Middlesbrough against Stoke in the Championship on TalkSport 2 with Screwfix. And if you're stuck for a late Christmas gift idea, visit screwfix.com/gift card and send a Screwfix Christmas gift card today. Lee Gregory was flagged offside, which is some achievement when you're a lone striker against 3 central defenders. And Pears will take the free kick just outside the Middlesbrough penalty area. These sides must have thought they'd left the lower divisions a long way behind them. Middlesbrough were last in the 3rd tier back in 1987 when they began their road back to recovery after financial meltdown. And Stoke, of course, have had more recent experience. 2002 was the last year they spent in League One, when Chris Owolamo was their top goal scorer and Tony Pulis led them back to the Championship and then ultimately into the Premier League. Now Spence for Middlesbrough, challenged by McLean on this near side, but he goes back towards Howson. And I can see on our monitor that the Cowley brothers are here watching tonight with Huddersfield at the Riverside Stadium on Boxing Day. And these are 2 massive games for Middlesbrough, and really in their situation, I know you said a point wouldn't be a bad result. They need 6.
Yeah, they need to win
against 2 of your rivals.
Yeah, I mean, they need to win. I mean, what they don't want to do definitely is get beat. So it's a fine line. It's a fine balancing act. You know, I just looked at both centre backs there for Stoke, Danny Bart and Liam Lindsay, and every time they make an interception or go and win a header or a tackle, it's a real backslapping moment between a pair of them. And I think this is what Michael O'Neill's trying to do. He's trying to forge these partnerships, you know, in his side, through midfield, at the back. You know, his correlation between the centre backs and the goalkeeper and the midfield. Cousins sat in there, and at this moment in time they do look quite solid as a side.
Well, they had back-to-back wins under Michael O'Neill at Barnsley and at home to Wigan before losing to Cardiff, Blackburn and Hull. And their goalless draw against Reading last week was the first time since Opta started analysing Championship games that neither side had a shot on target.
Wow.
But again, it was a similar sort of game to this one from the outset. Neither side really wanted to lose, but Stoke have shown a bit more intent at the start of this game. But Howson with an excellent ball wide to Coulson, who pokes it down the channel left-hand side. Tavernier has drawn Ince back into a defensive area. Now it's back towards Clayton, and very quickly Middlesbrough are heading backwards, and you can hear the anxiety and the grumbles from 1 or 2 crowds here supporting Middlesbrough because they had the opportunity to break there and then they didn't make the most of it.
Yeah, it needed another positive ball forward, to be honest with you. His initial play was positive. It's a great ball down the side and a good run from midfield by Tavernier. He's done that a couple of occasions now in this game. He's looking to break forward from midfield. There's run off the back of Allen, who's also looking to get forward, so something's got to give there, but just that positive mindset. Can you get on the ball and can you be positive?
Massive day across the TalkSport network tomorrow. Here on TalkSport 2, back-to-back games. Cardiff against Preston at 12:30 around the playoff zone in the Championship. John Motson celebrating his 50th anniversary as a commentator. He'll be behind the mic for Aston Villa against Southampton from the Premier League at 3 before Flamengo against Liverpool, the World Club final at 5:30. Over on TalkSport, I'll be alongside Trevor Sinclair at Goodison Park. Fascinating game now. Everton against Arsenal at 12:30. Adrian Durham will bring you all the goals as they go in Game Day Live from 2:30, and then it is Stuart Pearce and Sam Matterface with Manchester City against Leicester at 5:30. One of the Premier League games of the season so far, as Middlesbrough have a free kick earned on the far side there left and an opportunity to get the ball into the penalty area. Coulson playing it in towards Tavernier, and he was clipped by Cousins.
Just starting to find the feet a little bit now, Borough. 2 or 3 times now they've got down the sides of both centre-backs and in behind their back four with runs from midfield, and they're really aware of it now, one of which is culminating in a free kick for Borough, like you said, Nigel, on the apex of the box to the far left as we're looking.
And it's a free kick which Tavernier will take. Stoke have every single player back defending, a long line of black shirts on the edge of the penalty area, including a 2-man wall of Ince and Allen. Tavernier floats it high to the far post. Woeful delivery. 2 bounces straight out of play for a throw-in.
You see, it's little things like that, Nigel, it just starts to erode the confidence a little bit. You hear the crowd there's reaction, the shouts are rubbish, and they need to do things well. Every chance they get an opportunity to put the ball in box, a good ball in a box, it's got to be a good ball, and that's a poor ball in from Tavernier.
And the issue is, when you have a crowd as sparse as this, that sort of individual criticism really gets through to the players a good deal more easily, as Middlesbrough concede a free kick just inside the Stoke half. We have played 19 minutes on TalkSport 2, the home of the EFL, and it's Middlesbrough 0, Stoke City 0. Cousins takes it about 15 yards away from the area where the offence was committed, and Oliver Langford will pull him up, and Lindsay will now take the free kick. And Jack Butland is just telling the team to become a bit more compact as it's launched forward by Lindsay, flicked on by Ince, looking for Gregory on the channel right hand side, and it's gone out of play for a throw into Middlesbrough. And the issue is, even if Ince wins that header and Lindsay gets the ball, there's nobody inside the box. No, and Coulson, he realises that, and he just goes up against Ince, and obviously the ball runs harmlessly out for a throw into Borough. But now Pears just has to control the difficult back pass inside the 6-yard area, but the clearance is cut out by Allen. Allen now released by Ince, a high cross into the area. McLean leaping for the header, but he never makes contact. Now Ward around the back left-hand side. His cross, though, was nodded clear by Saville at the near post, and the pacey Spence can bring the ball away now for Middlesbrough on this near side. He nutmegs Cousins. Cousins thinks about making the challenge, then Ward does, and he will receive a yellow card for a cynical challenge. Spence in full flow, and Oliver Langford flourishes his 50th yellow card of the season.
I tell you what, great play by the youngster, full of confidence, drove inside from his right wing back position, nutmegged his opponent and was dragged to the floor, but brilliant play. See, that's the sort of positive action that Borough need.
And nobody has shown more yellow cards in the Championship than Oliver Langford so far this season, but no doubting that call there. Free kick comes to nothing. Howson tries to help it forward again. Stoke will break. Allen does well with a block challenge, and it spins into the path of Ince. And here is Allen again down the right. Everything coming for Stoke on that far side. Allen comes in field. Ince in a central area onto the left foot, fires in the shot, but there was no power, and he drags it wide, and he should have done much better.
Yeah, he's definitely got this awareness and an eye for goal. Ince, he drifted inside there as Allen broke down the right. It's good play by Allen. Cuts the ball across the face of the penalty box, and he picks it up. Ince lets the ball run across a couple of challenges and just drags the ball wide of the far post. But he's very goal aware, Ince. They've just got to be careful, Borough, that they pick him up.
Again, this is typical of a number of Stoke games I've seen this season. They start well, they show promise, they don't deliver, and then they cause problems for themselves.
Yeah, well, I think that's something obviously.
And that was the problem under Nathan Jones as well as Michael O'Neill.
Yeah, they need to have that belief, and that dynamic to get themselves in front and go on and win games. They've got the players to do it. There's no two ways about it.
Howson now launches it over the top. Walker will chase, and Butland comes out towards the edge of his area to make a clean claim. I would imagine he could be one of the players in the shop window in January as well. And it may be a mutual thing that Stoke need to get him off the wage bill as much as he would like to get back towards the Premier League. But he's a player who's not exactly shone for Stoke City since their relegation, and he spent time on the sidelines himself.
Yeah, it's just that consistency, Nigel, isn't it?
But it's a problem, isn't it? Because if you have an asset, and Butland is clearly an asset, he's got to play, isn't he?
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, his value is only going to drop if he's not in the side.
Here is Gregory coming very deep again, right to the halfway line. McLean makes the run down the centre. He's offside, but the ball is beyond him. Spence now will head the ball clear ahead of Ward on this near side. But again, Joe Allen does a very good job of breaking things up for Stoke City. Down the line from Smith to find Ince. 23 minutes played on TalkSport 2. Goalless so far at the Riverside Stadium. Ince has been caught by Coulson. The referee gives himself a second and makes the correct call. It's a free kick.
Well, yeah, it was a foul. The linesman's nearer still, and it's the referee that gives it. But it's good play again by Ince. Very elusive. It's a good ball in. Great first touch in a tight area. Shifted the ball and encouraged the foul, the challenge, and it is a foul.
And Ince is over the free kick, and it's Middlesbrough's turn to bring everybody back behind the ball on the edge of their own penalty area. Jack Butland, the only player inside the Stoke half, the only player who was not at least midway inside the Middlesbrough half. Ince with that free kick, a deep delivery to the far post, and Fry does well to rise above McLean to clear. And here is Walker, who bobs and weaves and does well to evade Allen. But Middlesbrough still have to go back towards their own goal, and here is Howson on the edge of the box, and his ball forward is cut out by Allen. McLean makes the angle for the cross left hand side, but the cross was short. Allen believes he was taken out on the edge of the area, but nothing given by the referee, and Middlesbrough now will try and break. Howson's ball down the line, seeking out Fletcher, but Lindsay is there to cut it out, and it's back towards Butland again.
Yeah, just lacked a little bit of quality. The ball down the side from Howson is a little bit too near Lindsay. Lindsay read it really well, coming across on his good left foot. Gave Walker no chance, but a better start, better break by Borough.
25 minutes played on TalkSport 2, the home of the EFL, and it's 0-0 between Middlesbrough and Stoke City. Smith down the line for Stoke, right hand side. Now Ince coming in field again inside the centre circle, and it's Lindsay striding forward, and there was no challenge at all on him. Now Ward down the left hand side, back towards Allen again. It was really buzzing around the midfield for Stoke City. McLean onto his right foot, low driven ball in, is cut out at the near post and cleared downfield by Saville again, but it will come straight back. Tavernier's downward header doesn't pick out Coulson. It's quickly cut out on the far side by Klukas, and now Klukas again will go all the way back towards Danny Bart, and Stoke are in control of this game without really forcing Ainsley Pears into anything like a save. Here is McLean again, finding Ward. Allen gathers and plays it square towards Coulson again, who cuts back onto his left foot and finds Ward in space on this near side for Stoke. Down the line for McLean, who was onside, whips the ball in first time. Gregory back to goal, lays it back. He can't pick out Klukas, but here is Allen, now square towards Smith inside the area. The cross in, headed away by Clayton at the near post. Gregory brings it down and he fouls Dale Fry as he does so, and it's a free kick for Middlesbrough.
Yeah, just that initial play by Gregory, fantastic. That ball comes into him, into the box from McLean. Great first touch, and he's got the presence of mind to stay on the ball in the 6-yard box. And you can see the panic in Ayala's face, but he does stand up well. But his layoff's just short, and it manages to be scrambled away by Borough. But really composed and a good spell of pressure there by Stoke.
We've played 27 minutes. It's goalless here on TalkSport 2 at the Riverside Stadium, and we heard Middlesbrough fans talking to Graham Courtney before kick-off saying, yeah, we got rid of Pulis and the football's been better. How is this better?
Well,
it's a difficult question.
Yeah, it is a difficult question. I mean, it's what do the supporters want? I mean, they want success. They want the side playing good football. They want to be winning. But you've got to be winning. There's no two ways about it.
Now Saville inside the area. This time last year, Stoke were 6th in the table. They've kept 6 clean sheets so far this season. They kept six clean sheets in their opening 8 games last season. Now Fletcher on the edge of the area manages to ride the challenge. He's in. Fletcher forces an excellent save from Jack Butland. A mistake by Danny Butt on the edge of the area, and Fletcher ball down on goal, and the right-footed shot turned aside superbly by the Stoke City goalkeeper.
Well, it's brilliant play by Fletcher initially. I mean, shocking defending by Bart. There's no way a big centre-half should be left on the floor like that, and the centre-forward running through on goal. But as soon as the duel becomes between Fletcher and Butland, it's Butland who excels. It's a fantastic diving save to his right-hand side, because that's going in. That's going right in the corner. Great play by Fletcher, good goalkeeping as well by Butland.
And Fletcher finding it very difficult to score goals. Scored the first one of the EFL season live on TalkSport 2 at Luton back in August, and very few since. Clayton's corner looking for Ayala, who tries to knee the ball towards goal, but he's been penalised for an infringement, and it's a free kick for Stoke City. Now, well, we know there was an image problem for Tony Pulis last season. People believe they weren't playing as well as they should have done. They scored only 49 goals and they missed out in the playoffs, and for Steve Gibson and many fans that wasn't good enough, and at times they didn't entertain, but there was never any question of them being anything other than a top 6, top 8 team. Here is Allen coming forward again now. Now Klukas. And here is Stephen Ward again on this near side. Back towards Klukas with half an hour played on TalkSport 2. Lindsay just takes a chance as Walker challenges him on the edge of the centre circle, and now Ward's clever flick releasing McLean. Boos for the former Sunderland man. McLean's cross into the near post is missed, and Allen will fire towards goal, but it's Gregory who has been penalised for an earlier challenge on Ayala, and the shot from Allen was turned aside by Pears anyway.
Yeah, it's a silly foul by Gregory, because they're struggling there, Borough, as that ball gets cut across. Great play down the left to free up McLean. Shows his pace, little step over, goes on the outside. Great cut back. It's a foolish bit of play by Gregory, because they're really under pressure there, Borough.
And we should make the point as well that Dykesteele, Friend, Shotton, Brown, McNair, Assombalonga, all players unavailable to Jonathan Woodgate for this game. If he had a full squad, possibly things would be different, but they just look to be a team. We're not saying they're badly coached, but maybe they're just not as streetwise as they were last season.
No, they look very open to me. I know the system 3-5-2 or 5-3-2 or however you want to put it, it's very expansive, but they always look like they're in between the shape, and it's causing them problems because Stoke are picking them apart at this moment in time.
But they haven't scored with 31 minutes played on TalkSport 2, the home of the EFL. Cardiff Preston coming up at 12:30 tomorrow, and on Sunday there is a noon kick-off as well. Good game at Hillsborough in prospect between Sheffield Wednesday and Bristol City. Two informed teams. Certainly Bristol City away from home at any rate. Now the flag's up for offside against McLean inside the area. And tonight you're listening to Middlesbrough against Stoke in the Championship on TalkSport 2 with Screwfix. And if you're stuck for Christmas gift ideas, visit screwfix.com/gift card and send a Screwfix Christmas gift card today. Ainsley Pears will take the free kick, and Michael O'Neill stood there, hands in pockets on the edge of the technical area. I think he'll be frustrated his team aren't ahead.
Yeah, he will, but a bit pleased with the way that they started. You know, they look confident, they look solid enough. You know, apart from that save that Butland's made from Fletcher, I think they've nullified Borough as an attacking threat. They look the better of the two footballing sides, or the more polished, which you would presume anyway with the youth that's in this Borough side. And I think, to be fair to Borough, with them being so young, you know, Spence and Walker don't look out of place. They've performed quite well. They've made good starts. But it is a nervy encounter. You can see that neither side wants to get beat.
Now Ward for Stoke on this near side, long downfield, headed away by Howson infield, and there's pressure there as Ayala cuts it out with Pears dashing from his line. No communication there at all inside the Middlesbrough penalty area, and now Ince coming forward for Stoke down the right. He's hit the byline, cuts it back into the area, headed away by Ayala, and then a good leap from Saville above Allen to clear, fired back across the box by Smith. It ricochets out towards Cousins, and here is Ward again. Further wide to the left than McLean, but Spence will get there first and just shepherd it out of play for a throw into Middlesbrough. But once again, Stoke getting around the back and not making the most of it.
Yeah, it's a great opportunity. It's fantastic play by Ince. Little step over and a change of pace, and he leaves Coulson for dead. Then his ball into the box is just a little bit vague. He's got a split second longer than what he thinks there before he puts that ball in, you know. He can pick somebody out. There's enough Stoke shirts in the box.
Now Cousins, player who was signed this summer from Queen's Park Rangers, and Charlton infield now towards Allen, and Allen again has the opportunity to play in Ince, but he goes back towards Smith, and Joe Allen really is running this game at the moment, and he looks like the sort of player who would prosper higher up this league and maybe in a league higher as well. Now Lindsay finding Ward, and it's played in field to Klukas, who quickly transfers it to the left-hand side of McLean, and McLean nutmegs House and tries to break into the area. He's cut out by Saville, and Saville does well to avoid the corner, but it's a throw-in for Stoke City on this near side. Yeah, it's a good play by Saville. Reads the little ball that McLean pushes through the full-back's legs, and he's onto it quick. He has to clear under pressure, though. Still in a good position here for Stoke. Stephen Ward will take the throw-in. Short towards Klukas, and back towards Ward again, who plays a high cross into the area. Coulson rising well to nod the ball away under pressure from Ince. Here is Allen. Allen controls on the edge of the area, bypasses Tavernier. Allen maybe thought about the right-footed shot, but it's further wide towards Smith. Ince now with the opportunity to tease Coulson, but he's given the ball away to him, and Coulson clears up to the halfway line, and Walker barged in the back by Bart, and it will be a free kick for Middlesbrough on halfway with 35 minutes played, and it's 0-0 here at the Riverside Stadium. Yeah, much better player there by Coulson. Stood up really well. Another step over by Ince. Comes inside, and his good foot, his left foot, but he reads it really well, Coulson. Makes a good challenge and plays a good ball up the line to Walker, who wins a free kick. Just need to do a little bit more with it in the final third, Borough. They're getting in behind this Stoke back four with the runs from midfield and the movement of the front players, but need more end product. And you can hear those boos, because from a free kick on halfway they go all the way back towards Ainsley Pears, and they are not defending a lead in the last 5 minutes. It's 0-0 with 10 minutes to play before half time. No, it is played longer. Here is Fletcher down the right hand side, back towards Clayton. Clayton clips it into the path of Spence again, and Spence will try and take on the fullback, but he backheels it to Howson, who swings it across into the area, and a couple of ricochets there. A header clear strikes Fletcher on the head and loops onto the roof of the netting for a goal kick. Just shows you how dangerous that ball in first time is, though, Nigel. You know, it's a difficult ball for Howson to put in, because it's not a great ball back to him by Spence, so he has to put it in first time, but he's whipped it in with pace, and they struggled to deal with it, Stoke. Ball just needs to come in a little bit earlier. On Talk Sport tomorrow, Everton against Arsenal kicks off game day with a 12:30 start. We're on the air from Goodison Park at 11 o'clock. Game day live with Adrian Durham at 2:30, and then Manchester City against Leicester. An intriguing game at 5:30 with your verdict to follow after that. And And don't forget, Flamengo against Liverpool, kicking off at 5:30, is now on TalkSport 2, the FIFA World Club Final, and that follows Villa against Saints at 3 and Cardiff against Preston at 12:30. Now a high ball swept forward by Bart towards the edge of the area. McLean challenges for it, may break into the path of Ward. First time cross from him, the volley from goal towards Klukas is wide. It was a sharp chance at the near post, and Pear's not worked again.
Yeah, it's a great ball in by Ward. Whips it away from the back three, and he just pulls out into that little pocket in front of the 6-yard box. Klukas got his back to goal, and he does ever so well to try and turn it onto the target, but narrowly wide.
And as the ball boy recovered it there, he slipped over onto the turf on this near side, and the Middlesbrough fans, desperate for some sort of entertainment, gave out a cheer. Now Howson. Long from him again. Spence makes the run, and Spence does well to rise in the air and cushion a header in field, but it's cut out quickly by Cousins, and Allen now was the wrong side of Tavernier, and he quickly plays it forward for Stoke to Gregory. Gregory swings it wide to the right hand side. Ince takes the ball in stride as he bursts into the penalty area, and now Smith with a shot which was deflected off Coulson, and it loops behind for a corner to Stoke.
Yeah, it's good play by Stoke. Allen involved again. He's the best player on the pitch by a mile, Nigel. Just looks, he's got that extra second on the ball, his touch and his awareness. It's a great switch out towards Ince on that right hand side, and again he's box away and he forces the corner.
More boos for James McLean as he heads towards the far side. Of course, started his career in English football up the A19 at Sunderland. And McLean swings in the corner, high to the far post. Lindsay nods it back towards goal, and that ball needed to be headed back into the 6-yard area, and Lindsay heads it wide to the near post.
Yeah, it's a difficult one for him, to be fair. It's quite high tariff. He's running away from goal.
Again, it's a poor delivery, isn't it?
It is a poor delivery because they've got the bodies in there, and need to be putting that ball in the danger area.
Sunday on TalkSport 2, Sheffield Wednesday against Bristol City. Ross in the chair from 11 o'clock. It's a noon kick-off, followed by rugby union action from the Gallagher Premiership, London Irish against Bath, and then at 6 our continuing coverage from Ali Pali of the World Darts. And we have 6 minutes to play in what has been a fairly anemic first half on the whole here. 0-0 between Middlesbrough and Stoke. Stoke have played by far the better football. Joe Allen, as Neil was saying, despite his stature, head and shoulders above everybody else in footballing terms, but they're yet to work the goalkeeper. The only save in the game so far, a good one. Jack Butland turning aside the shot from Ashley Fletcher.
Yeah, you just look at that front three as well, Nigel. All talented footballers, McLean, Gregory and Ince, but they look strung out. They're up there. Gregory looks a bit isolated on his own down the middle.
It's a team of individuals.
Yeah, I mean, you could almost forgive him for maybe playing inside and playing off the front, playing off Gregory, coming and playing more centrally, both Ince and McLean, because the space in behind that Borough midfield, there's only really Clayton that's sat in there to try and cut the passing lines off into the front. I think that's something that they could exploit better.
Ashley Fletcher treads on the ball on the far side, runs it out of play. Stoke have a throw-in, and now Lindsay with a high ball forward towards Gregory, but it's nodded clear by Fry. But all the second balls in midfield are falling to Stoke City shirts, it seems. Here it's Ince again down the right. Back to Smith, and now Allen clips it forward into the channel looking for Ince. It just took a deflection of Clayton, and then it's hooked clear by Coulson for a throw into Stoke City. A number of the Middlesbrough fans are just heading downstairs for their half-time refreshment as Ince tries to turn on the edge of the area. He had Fry back pedalling, but Fry recovers to clear, but Stoke quickly win it back again. Here is Ward, infield to Klukas, and Ward now has McLean in support, but Ward delivers a cross into the area which floats gently into the arms of Ainsley Pears.
Yeah, it's a poor ball in by Ward. Well watched, to be fair, by Pears, because he had to keep his eye on it. These modern balls was swerving and moving about a little bit.
And Pears has now thrown the ball straight out of play on the far side for a Stoke City throw-in, and you can sense the Middlesbrough players, they're on edge.
Yeah.
The crowd, they're not on their backs, but they feel as though everything they do is wrong as Klukas heads it into the area for Stoke. And it's gathered by Gregory, now wide towards McLean again. He will try and take on Clayton, but he sticks with him. Back to Ward, who swings him the cross. Allen was waiting for it, nodded away though by Tavernier, and there were 4 black shirts inside the area, but none of them jumped. Here is Saville now for Middlesbrough, but he plays it behind Spence, and it's cut out by Klukas, and now McLean has space for Stoke down the left. High cross into the area over the head of Gregory, and Tavernier does well to get there before Allen at the far post. An important challenge, and he thought about going forward, then he checked back inside, and once again the crowd are on his back, and it's given away, and it's a hurried challenge by Howson on Gregory, and it's a free kick to Stoke in a central area 30 yards out.
Yeah, it's all helter-skelter for Borough. I mean, it doesn't help these young players when the crowd's getting on the backs like this. But
it looks a very heavy shirt, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does. And what's happening as the game's going on, and they're losing more and more confidence. Borough, the wing backs are dropping deeper and deeper. They're almost like a back 5, and then you've got Fletcher dropping in on Cousins in midfield, and only one up front in Walker. They just can't get out. They can't get back up the pitch. But they're really in the ascendancy here, Stoke. But it's whether Stoke have got enough to put them to the sword, because at this moment in time they've not really had a clear sight of goal.
And Johnny Howson received a yellow card for that challenge on Gregory. It was a rash one, but really he was played into trouble, and if he hadn't made that challenge, Stoke were away.
Yeah, they looked a little bit spared at the back as well there, Borough.
Ince is over the free kick. Allen just standing on the ball at the moment. He now walks away, and Ince has the opportunity to shoot this, which he does, and it's a couple of yards over the top, left-footed.
Yeah, I don't think he ever really fancied that I was going to come back down. He struck it well enough, but you've got to get the ball up and down over the wall. It's just let Borough off the hook a little bit. I think Jonathan Woodgate needs half-time quicker than Michael O'Neill needs half-time. I think he needs to regroup a little bit and just have a look at where he can tweak this Borough side, just to get him a foothold in this game.
But it's difficult. You've got a young coaching team, Jonathan Woodgate and Robbie Keane, obviously vastly experienced international footballers, but not experienced managers at the bottom of the Championship.
Yeah, and these are difficult games. You've got to make the right decisions, and the bottom line is the most important thing is the points.
Now Allen for Stoke, spreads it wide to the far side, and Ince again. Ince has got Smith on the overlap. The pass though rather sold him short, but it's back towards Ince. Here is Allen again, back towards Ince, who fires in the shot, which was deflected, and in the end the deflection helping out Pears, because he was able to readjust and make a save in the centre of goal.
Yeah, this is their way in, Stoke. Ince coming off the line onto his left foot from the right, linking in really, really well with Allen. Allen looks a really polished performer. Looks better than this level, to be honest with you. He's running the game, but Ince is a definite threat.
And there's a head injury for Middlesbrough on the edge of the penalty area, so there will be some treatment here. And Stoke have done better than they managed last week, because that will go down as a shot on target, even though it took a deflection off Adam Clayton, who was the player down inside the D.
I mean, to be fair to Michael O'Neill, the process of tightening things up at the back can often look like this, where you don't look like you're going to go and get 3 or 4 goals in each game. They do look more solid at the back, they do look safer in midfield. You've got people like Allen who's relishing this sort of role. He's on the ball, he's playing well, and he's got a genuine threat in Ince and McLean. Gregory's a good foil at this moment in time. Just need a little bit more quality and a little bit more belief in that final third, Stoke.
We're into a single minute of added time at the end of the first half, and we can see down beneath us Robbie Keane assiduously making notes in conversation with Jonathan Woodgate. So they've clearly got something planned, or the opportunity to maybe change things around. But you look at their bench and it's pretty thin. Apart from bringing on Gusted and lumping it long, there's not a huge amount they can do.
Well, and he's only just come back from injury. I mean, he's been out a while, hasn't he, for Borough. I mean, he would be a good foil to have up there for these young players. Big, strong target man. Headed away by Lindsay now for Stoke. Headed back in field by Clayton.
Walker will try and flick it on, but it's controlled by Cousins, and now a long ball played over the top by Smith, taken down brilliantly by Ince on the edge of the penalty area. He's got Allen in support. Fry has been drawn out to the centre to make the challenge. Back in field towards Smith, who tries to make the angle for the ball in field towards Ince, and now Allen again on towards Ince. We've seen that move several times in the first half, and now it's back towards Smith, shot back towards Ince again, who now delivers a cross which was blocked, but it's controlled by Allen, back towards Cousins, who is anchoring the midfield to just release Allen further forward. And there goes the half-time whistle, and you can hear one or two grumbles from the Middlesbrough supporters. It's been billed as a big game at the bottom, and so far Stoke City are the only team who have really turned up. They've dominated the first half in terms of possession, but they've struggled to create. Ashley Fletcher with the best chance so far for Middlesbrough, forcing an excellent save from Jack Butland, but apart from that there has been precious little to entertain a crowd on a bitterly cold night on Teesside. Half time, Middlesbrough 0, Stoke City 0. There goes the whistle from the referee Oliver Langford. Head down, dig in, Neil. We hope for better in the second half. 0-0 at half time, and it's Stoke in all black playing from left to right in the second half. And Middlesbrough showed flashes, but there were flickers really amongst the sea of mediocrity, and that lack of confidence which we've been talking about really came to the fore the longer the first half went on. And really, Neil, the one thing that Jonathan Woodgate and Robbie Keane needed to do was try and build the players up, tell them they're good.
Yeah, with young players, the confidence is fragile. It can be, particularly when you're playing in front of an hostile crowd. And they need to make them feel good and feel good about themselves, encourage them to be positive. It's been difficult for them. And I think, I'm pretty sure that they would have done at half time, because these are the players that they've got. They've got an injury list, as long as they're around. They've got players out missing. These are the players they've got, so they've got to make them feel like $1 million.
The Middlesbrough team pairs in goal: Howson, Ayala and Fry, 3 central defenders, Spence and Coulson the wing backs, Clayton, Saville and Tavernier in midfield, with Walker and Fletcher in attack as Allen plays it forward for Stoke. Ince will try and gather on the edge of the area, but it's cut out well by Coulson, and it's cleared forward towards Fletcher, who tries to flick the ball on, but in the end it strikes the body of Bart and spins out of play for a throw into Middlesbrough. The Stoke team: Butland in goal, Smith, Bart, Lindsay and Ward the back four, Ince and McLean the wide players, Allen, Cousins and Klukas in midfield, Gregory the lone striker. Now Saville miscontrols a simple ball back from Coulson on the halfway line. Ince with some lovely trickery on this near side. He was then clipped by Walker, and it will be a free kick for Stoke on halfway, right in front of the two technical areas. And Jonathan Woodgate stands there, arms folded, and it's not getting any warmer.
No, just looking at this, as two sides independently from this game, not as two competitors, you can see why both get beat. You can understand why both struggle.
Now Allen on the edge of the penalty area, plays it square to Klukas, driving forward, he pokes it through to Gregory, who was onside. A high cross to the far post, nodded back by McLean. Klukas was shaping for the volley, and it's cleared by Clayton inside the 6-yard area. Now McLean down the left again, a high cross into the area. Allen was the closest player to it, and it's headed away, and Walker will try and bring it clear here for Middlesbrough, but he looks up and there is nobody ahead of him, so he checks, almost gives the ball away, now plays it back to Coulson in the left full-back area, and Middlesbrough play themselves under pressure. Coulson's clearance strikes Ince, and then Coulson's header away will lead to a Stoke throw-in, and you can hear the boos.
Yeah, this isn't getting any better for Borough. They just need to try and help themselves by being a little bit more composed when they get the chance to get the ball down and play.
Now Lindsay's ball into the penalty area, Gregory hooks it on, and it's Howson there to clear 4 yards from goal. Headed infield by Smith again for Stoke, and Tavernier will try and clear, and here is Spence, who checks away from the challenge of Ward, and McLean backtracking will try and deal with him, but Spence is very, very quick, and he's left Ward standing, and he's cleaned out by McLean, and McLean got to the ball first, and a corner kick has been given, but Jed Spence raising spirits among the Borough supporters here at the Riverside. 0-0, 49 minutes played.
I tell you what, Nigel, it's these younger players that's taking the fight to Stoke. You know, I think Spence has been tremendous today. Walker's shown real glimpses of quality at times. You know, they're showing no fear. Fair play to them.
And it's not a mess they have created, and maybe they can, in a strange way, take something from that. It's a corner which Tavernier will take, and there is plenty of jostling going on inside the area, so Oliver Langford, the referee, just tries to sort that out. There's a bus queue of Middlesbrough players about 8 yards from goal. They now split, and the delivery in towards Ayala, it's flicked on towards the far post, and it's headed away for another corner. And that was a better delivery. It
was a great delivery, you know, and it just needed somebody there to go and attack it. But they do look a little bit vulnerable from set players, I have to say, Stoke.
Clayton will now take the corner on this near side, the Middlesbrough left. Clayton's in swing towards the 6-yard area, headed away by Bart initially, then Allen will try and cushion it wide to Klukas, whose volley is up rather than away on the edge of the area. Tavernier rises above Allen to win it back, and now Middlesbrough will try and bring some composure on this near side with Walker. Checks back in field, goes back towards Clayton, and Clayton is more of a sitting midfield player, and his natural inclination is to go back to the halfway line, where Fry now finds Ayala. It's played forward towards Fletcher, who does well to rise above Bart and head the ball on, and it's hacked away by Lindsay towards this near side for a Middlesbrough throw-in.
Good spell by Borough. Just a little bit of discontent there when Clayton played the ball backwards. He perhaps could have played forward. This is what the people of Borough are really down about. They want to try and see the side be positive.
Now it's flicked on by Fletcher, and an opportunity for Walker to come forward down the left, cuts it back square of the penalty area, just beyond Tavernier. But here is Spence, left foot shot from him was deflected, and then Tavernier goes down inside the area on the blind side of Bart. Bart is convinced he dived, and the referee gave nothing.
Yeah, he's right there, the referee. He's been a little bit fussy tonight, I think, Oliver Langford, but he got that one spot on.
Looking at the replay, Tavernier was nowhere near Bart.
No, he's not going to get a penalty for that.
That's really poor. Now Butland plays it wide towards Bart on this near side. Long right-footed ball from him down the centre, headed down by Gregory, but again the midfield was too far away from him. He tried to find Klukas, but it was quickly cut out. Now Tavernier does well to find Saville. A long ball swung forward from him. It's beyond Fletcher, and it's into the arms of Butland. And Middlesbrough, they need to get Tavernier on the ball more, don't they? Because he is the creative player, with Saville and Clayton also involved in the midfield.
Yeah, he is. And what you've noticed now, I mean, it's obviously been said at half-time, is he's got himself 10-15 yards further up the pitch, so his runs are not as far. He's joining the front quicker, and they look better for it, Borough.
52 minutes played, 0-0 at the Riverside on TalkSport 2, the home of the EFL, as Gregory fastens onto a loose ball inside the area, cuts it across, McLean shot brilliantly saved by Pears, Klukas though with the rebound, and Stoke City have the lead, and Middlesbrough are left bereft. 7 minutes into the second half, it seemed that Pears had bailed them out with an excellent save, but it broke out to Klukas, and he made no mistake from close range, and the gloom shows no sign of lifting on Teesside. Middlesbrough 0, Stoke City 1.
Well, you've got one ball there that's done three central defenders, because it's Gregory that's the man that's got down the side of all three of them, pulled a great ball across. It's a great save, to be fair, from Pears diving away. No right to save that, but Klukas, real quality following up the rebound. You know, we said first half we need to see more of him. Well, there's the answer. Great finish.
Sam Klukas' sixth goal of the season. It was a mistake by Fry which allowed Gregory to make the run into the area. Pears was unlucky because it was a fantastic block, but Klukas was there to finish things off. And Middlesbrough, a team who don't really look like they know how to score a goal, now have to chase this game.
Well, this is a real uphill task now for Borough, because if they were lacking confidence before, then it's definitely going to be tested now.
Klukas with 6 goals, and 4 of them have come away from home. He was one of the players who was brought in for a considerable sum last season, having been relegated with Swansea. and doing his bit now to ensure that Stoke don't fall out of another division, as Tavernier does well to ride a couple of challenges before being failed midway inside the Stoke half. It's a free kick for Borough, and we can hear the strains of Delilah from the 370 Stoke fans on the far side. And they must have thought a goal was never going to come this evening as well.
No, that was a good bit of play. I mean, the worst thing for three centre-backs is that space between the outside centre-back and the wing-back. There's a channel there for the striker to run into, and it just presented itself. It was such an easy pass to play. You know, they've got to cover the width of the pitch better than that, Borough. As soon as Gregory gets down the side, there's only one outcome.
Clayton over the free kick for Middlesbrough. Flighted high to the far post, headed away though by Bart, and it will be a throw-in. And the Middlesbrough crowd left stunned by that goal, and even though they have an attacking opportunity here, there was very little reaction for them, and they're just getting on the backs of the players now very quickly. It's a pretty toxic situation here for Jonathan Woodgate and the Middlesbrough players.
Yeah, it's a toxic situation as well for young players. You know, you're talking about quite a lot of young players.
And it's not fair on the younger players, really, because...
Well, it's not their mess.
Exactly,
you know what I mean? It's the senior players that's got them in this mess. But it's them that's got to try and dig them out now. And to be fair, they've rose to the occasion. I have to say, Spencer's done okay, Walker's done okay. But they need more than that to win this game.
If Stoke win this game, they'll be out of the relegation zone and level on points with Middlesbrough. And Middlesbrough will be vulnerable to other matches taking place tomorrow. And of course, on Boxing Day, the Cowleys are here tonight. They've got Huddersfield. That becomes a monumental game in Middlesbrough's season, because Huddersfield have just started to drop places and drop points as well after a brilliant start under the new management.
Well, to be fair, just like Stoke City, to be fair, Huddersfield, I mean, this is an opportunity. They're looking at Middlesbrough as being, you know, really struggling, and if they can get the points, they can move themselves into a far better position.
Now Clayton clips it over the top. Fletcher chasing on this near side. Bart is drawn out to try and make the challenge, and Fletcher, arms outstretched as he carries the ball back towards his own goal, is saying, where are the options? Now Howson with the ball over the top, Fletcher with the header, and Middlesbrough have the equalising goal. Ashley Fletcher, who moments before was questioning a lack of movement from his teammates, then made the dart into the area. Howson with a brilliant ball forward, and the diving header from Fletcher brings some relief for Middlesbrough's long-suffering supporters. 1-1.
Well, two real bits of quality. First of all, the ball from Johnny Howson's unbelievable. It's a defence-splitting pass through, and he's looking for it, to be fair. Fletcher gets himself on the end of it and just steers that one past the keeper, no chance. A look at Danny Bart's positioning. My goodness, got yourselves 1-0 up, central defender, you've got to pick up better than that.
Well, he was stood there, Danny Bart, with his arms up looking for offside, and my first instinct was to look towards the assistant, but he was clearly onside, Fletcher.
But even so now, you've still got to pick up, even if you think he's offside, you've still got to go with him, track the runner, left him all on his own.
And Stoke City were ahead for 3 minutes. And there is going to be a double change made anyway. Clayton and Walker are the players coming off, and it's Wing and Gusted who are the players coming on. I think they were going to make that change before the goal, but now they've got the opportunity to make them with Middlesbrough back in the game.
Well, he's definitely an aerial threat, Gusted. He's a real handful physically. Might just create a little bit of space for Fletcher to run off, play off him.
Now Fletcher again moving forward towards the edge of the area, going down as he was challenged by Lindsay, and the referee rightly waving away the appeals for the free kick as Allen plays it in field now towards McLean, but it's cut out by Howson, but Howson could be out of position here as Cousins plays it forward looking for Klukas, and Ayala just turns and lumps it out of play for a throw-in to Stoke on the far side, and Michael O'Neill will be seething. You work so hard to score a goal, and then you give away a really soft one straight away. From their point of view, it was a soft goal.
But I just look at, if you look at it from a coaching point of view, Howson picks the ball up, there's no pressure on the ball, so you can't start to squeeze as a back four, and they're actually walking up So as they start walking up, he clips the ball past, a great ball in. Fletcher's looking for it. Danny Bart, pick up. You've got to pick up their schoolboy things.
Now Gregory at the near post for Stoke, found by McLean, and Klukas goes down inside the area, and a free kick has been given against him, and there's a yellow card for simulation inside the penalty area. And Klukas, who has scored the goal, went down looking for the penalty, and now he's booked for diving.
Yeah, well done the referee. Well done the referee. I hate to say that.
We're just watching the replay.
As daft as it seems, if he stays on his feet there and he gets an effort at goal.
Yeah. The referee was spot on again. He came in between the challenge of Howson and Saville, and there was no contact at all before he made up his mind to go down.
Oh, he's looking for it.
Well, things have livened up here on TalkSport 2. 1-1 with an hour played. There's a high cross into the area again for Middlesbrough, looking for Gusted, who was just back from an injury problem. He's not scored since February of 2018, but now he lays it off towards Fletcher. Fletcher wide towards Spence, a cross driven into the area and gathered well by Butland at the near post.
Yeah, great player. Just needed a little bit more care by Spence. A little bit longer, a little bit more time than what he thought. Just to pick a good cross out, pick a red shirt out in the box. But the tails are definitely up now, Borough.
And here is Wing, plays it forward towards Fletcher, who looks to the referee as he goes down, but no free kick has been given. Wing is sort of playing rightish side of midfield since coming on, which would be his preferred position as they look to have some width. And if he and Spence can get some sort of understanding, there is plenty of potential for Middlesbrough on that side.
Well, they look like they've got a little bit more energy about them in midfield now. More legs. You know, it's obviously the message from the bench. They've come on, let's get about this Stoke side, don't give them time on the ball. But they just haven't turned up this half yet, Stoke.
Now Allen wide to this near side for Stoke, and Smith into has been quiet in the second half. 61 minutes played after a dreadful opening 45 minutes. We've had 2 goals and much more endeavour from both teams since half-time. Tavernier with a lovely turn to evade Cousins, left him standing on this near side. Now Wing plays it square to Howson, driving forward. Spence is the outlet down the right-hand side. Spence can now attack infield towards Tavernier again, who just checks back and goes back towards Howson. A high cross into the area, and it's flicked away by Bart with Fletcher waiting, and it's a throw-in. And the crowd, who really turned on their team in the early stages of the second half, are now firmly behind Borough once again.
You see, when Borough get the ball in crossing positions, he's got to be a target. Gusted, look at the size of him, his presence, look at his movement, he's pulling off into good areas. See if they can get the ball into the big man. Will be a real threat for him.
Coulson will take the throw-in on this near side. Middlesbrough 1, Stoke 1. Coulson launched in towards Gusted, headed away, but Middlesbrough win the second ball. Saville inside the box, but it's hacked further clear by Smith. There's a collision of bodies on this near side as Coulson and Gregory go down, and here is Tavernier with a dart into the area, and his low cross is slid behind by Bart for a corner.
Well, they've totally fallen apart, Stoke. All that good
that's
football.
Why the way they are.
Yeah, all that good football and positiveness and good shape and strength, it's disappeared.
Corner flighted in by Howson towards the far post, headed down and wide, and it was Gusted who was rising there along with Fletcher, but he couldn't keep the header on target.
Yeah, it just shows you though that little bit of confidence that you get from a goal, and everything goes up a notch, and it's exactly what the shot in the arm that this Borough side needed. They're in a game now, Stoke.
You're listening to Middlesbrough against Stoke in the Championship on TalkSport 2 with Screwfix. And if you're stuck for Christmas gift ideas, visit screwfix.com/giftcard and send a Screwfix Christmas gift card today.
There's a bit of a consultation going on down here, look, from the set players. I look at Danny Bart over. They've got the set player sheets out, looking at who's picking up who. That doesn't bode well for the next set player that comes in. This has got to be done before the game. Definitely, again, when you go back in at half-time, it's sorted out. But it's these little things that add up.
What are they doing in training?
Well, they'll go through the set plays that the opposition will take through the training, but obviously once you get the starting 11, you'll go through their system, you'll go through their attacking threats from set plays, and you'll identify the players that pick them up. Well, looking at Danny Bart now, he's looking through the sheets that they've got that they'll put up on the dressing room wall, they'll take out with them for the subs. He's obviously not happy about the markers from set plays. But I said that they did look really dodgy from set plays, Stoke. They need to pick up, they need to go with runners. As they've been designated men, you've got to be thorough, you've got to be diligent.
Stephen Ward down injured following that most recent Middlesbrough corner, and he's received treatment, and it will be a free kick for Stoke inside their 6-yard area. 1-1 here at the Riverside Stadium with 19 minutes played in the second half. Tomorrow on TalkSport 2, Cardiff against Preston at 12:30, Aston Villa against Southampton with John Motson celebrating his 50th anniversary as a commentator at 3. Then it's Flamengo against Liverpool at 5:30. As a high ball is played into the area once again for Middlesbrough, and it's won back by Saville as Stoke look to clear. Fletcher wide to this near side again, and Tavernier. The high ball swirled into the area by Coulson. Leaping for it was Gusted, and it's volleyed towards goal by Wing, and it's sliced high and wide. But you've noticed a change in the formation there.
Yeah, it almost looks like a back four now. Borough have gone to 2 centre backs, 2 full backs now, midfield 4, 2 strikers up front. And I think what it's done, it's a brave move to be fair, by Jonathan Woodgate. He's actually took the initiative off Stoke, so where Stoke were dominating in wide areas, now they're actually confronted and they're doubled up in each department. It's a good move by the young manager.
And there's going to be a change made by Stoke shortly as well, and it's Nick Powell who will come on, player signed from Wigan. And when he's fit, he can be a real asset for any team he plays in, but maybe they just need somebody to hold on to the ball further up the field at the moment. Now Cousins, it's flicked on by Klukas, who was booked for diving earlier on. And now Spence motoring away from the challenge. McLean trying to keep up with him down the left-hand side. Spence chops back, and in doing so gives the ball away, and Ward will clear. But nobody in the Stoke team is fancying a foot race with Jed Spence at the moment.
No, and I'll tell you what he's done, he's been positive. Everything he does is positive, and the crowd have reacted to it. He's actually dragged the fight to Stoke, and his teammates have reacted. The goals helped, obviously, gives you confidence, but I think he's been outstanding, Spence.
And here is the change, and it's James McLean who is coming off, and Nick Powell who is coming on. Now, I can't imagine that's to deal with the pace of Jed Spence.
No, it looks like a change of shape, to be honest with you. It's always good to have a pantomime villain at Christmas, isn't it?
Yes. Well, James McLean is often many people's pantomime villain. Well, they said it was McLean, and now they've changed their mind, and it's Ward who is coming on, which, even so, maybe they're believing he did have an injury issue a few moments ago, but he's also somebody who's been left standing by Spence on a couple of occasions.
Well, he definitely needs to freshen it up, Michael O'Neill, because they haven't really started this half yet, Stoke. I mean, they were totally dominant first half. They absolutely ran it.
Looks like Klukas is going to left back, McLean left-hand side of midfield, and Powell will try and play in behind Gregory.
Yeah, they've matched them up. They've matched Borough up. It's more like maybe a 4-4-1-1. But Powell joining to make 2 up front.
And Gregory wins the header from a free kick. It drops to Ince on the edge of the area. Now forced wide towards Smith. Smith drives the ball in, which is deflected away off Tavernier, and it will be a throw-in for Stoke. Allen now on this near side by the corner flag, and he runs it out of play, and we've seen little of Joe Allen since the flurry of goals around the hour mark as well. He's rather been bypassed by the way Middlesbrough are playing now.
Yeah, is a peripheral figure at this moment, Allen, but outstanding in the first half. He's the best player on the pitch by a mile, but got to give this Borough side credit.
Here is Powell beyond the challenge of Ayala on the edge of the area, but he runs into Saville, and Middlesbrough will bring the ball clear with Wing over the halfway line right hand side. 68 minutes played, 1-1, but Wing in turn has given the ball away. Then it's one back and it's all very scrappy on the far side. Cousins goes down, challenged by Wing, and it's a free kick for Stoke on halfway.
Yeah, what a shame, bit of a misunderstanding there by Wing. Left the ball for Howson. Howson was never in a position to take it up.
Middlesbrough have not been higher than 20th since October the 1st, but they may sense an opportunity here to take 3 points, and after the way the second half started, it looked extremely unlikely at that stage. But here is Gregory, who does well to control the long ball, but he's penalised for backing in as he does so on Ayala, and it will be a free kick to Middlesbrough. And we've got some breaking news from League 2. Macclesfield Town have postponed Saturday's league game at home to Plymouth over ground safety concerns. Macclesfield, of course, docked 6 points for failing to fulfil that recent game against Crewe because the players refused to play because they hadn't been paid, and now another game has been postponed over ground safety concerns. They are in a heap of trouble towards the bottom of the Football League. Now Gusted inside the area, almost picks it up, but it's cleared by Klukas.
Yeah, that's not really going to help matters.
If you can't fulfil your fixtures,
no,
that's big trouble. Now it's played forward over the top again by Smith, but at least they've made that decision before the Plymouth fans had to leave, which would be about now.
Yeah.
Now Allen coming forward for Stoke, wide towards the left-hand side, and their goal scorer Sam Klukas. Cousins with a high ball over the top, looking for Ince, who's got space, but his first touch just betrays him this time and allows Coulson to make the challenge, and it will be a throw-in for Stoke City on this near side.
He's quite impressed me, Coulson, because he's a tricky customer, Ince, and he's stuck at it, to be fair, the little fella. It's not giving him much leeway.
Allen with a good ball to pick out McLean down the left, and McLean will go beyond Howson initially and then beat him a second time and delivers the cross into the near post, where Pears steps in before Gregory to gather. Now Tavernier spinning away from a challenge on halfway. It was Cousins, and Cousins looks to be labouring here as Wing brings it forward in the central area, 25 yards out, and fires in an absolutely wonderful goal for Middlesbrough. Lewis Wing with a Christmas cracker at the Riverside, and a team which looked to be lacking direction, lacking goals and lacking hope now leads Stoke City by 2 goals to 1, and it's the Potters who head into Christmas with another very grim result. 2-1 to Middlesbrough.
What a fantastic bit of play by Wing. Picks it up and he's only got one thought in his mind. He's going to travel to the edge of the box and get his shot off. What an unbelievable strike. It's unerring. It gives Butland absolutely no chance. It's a total transformation second half. Borough have been a totally different side, and to be fair to Stoke, it's a real examination of their strength of character now to come back.
Well, the problem was, looking at the replay, fantastic effort from Wing, but Lindsay and Bart both backed off, so Butland couldn't see it.
Well, I tell you what, to compound it even worse as well, it looked like he got flip-flops on Coulson getting back. You know, you've got to be athletic enough to get back and close down. If you're that sitting midfield player, that defensive midfield player, you can't be beat that easy.
Well, if Middlesbrough win this game, they'll be up to the dizzy heights of 18th on 24 points. And crucially, they would be 6 points clear of Stoke, who would remain 2 points behind Luton in the relegation zone. And this really is Stoke's season in a microcosm. They've dominated the game in the first half, didn't score, took the lead, and now they're losing.
Yeah, unbelievable. They've definitely took the foot off the gas. I have to give credit to Jonathan Woodgate though, because he's made the changes, they got the equaliser, he's brought up fresh legs on, and they've looked better for it.
Now Coulson coming forward again now. Looks to win a corner off Smith. And Coulson now continues into the area. It's Ince back there defending, and Ince does well to make the challenge. And it's cleared downfield, a long ball for Stoke, but it's a game they now have to chase, having led and dominated. And we've spoken about Middlesbrough sleepwalking towards League One. There's no doubt this Stoke City team are doing it as well.
Well, I tell you what, Nigel, all Stoke City's failings are starting to transpire in this second half. You know, they've no heart for the fight. If the game starts going away from them, they take the foot off the pedal. They're looking at one another. You need characters. You need strong characters. It's a serious test of them.
And defensively, they have been found wanting on both goals, shockingly.
Yeah, shocking.
Well, it's a free kick for Middlesbrough on this near side. Another goal and they've surely won it. Tavernier's delivery, nodded down by Ayala. Brilliant save by Butland, with two Middlesbrough players right on his toes. Coulson with the cross back into the area, headed away by Bart. Here is Spence now, down the right-hand side. Back to Wing. Lewis Wing stepping off the bench to score only his second goal of the season. His first one was a cracker as well on the opening night, August the 2nd at Luton. And here, 5 days before Christmas, he's come up with a much more important one.
I tell you what, just going back to that save, that's a world-class save from Jack Butland. He had no right to save that, because that header came through a host of bodies. Saw it very, very late. What a save.
And it's worrying for Stoke that in the midst of all of this, their goalkeeper has made two outstanding saves, and he still may end up on the losing side.
Absolutely. They've just down tools, Stoke. I just can't understand it for the life of me. They were brilliant first half.
But that is a massive concern for Michael O'Neill then. We talk about a lack of character, and we've hammered Middlesbrough for a lack of character during this season, during this game, but they've dredged it up from somewhere. And you know, Stoke City here, we look at big earning players just not performing.
Well, to be fair to Butter, the equalising goal was like a shot in the arm. Everything went up a notch, and if you look at Stoke, the equalising goal was like somebody deflated them.
Well, they're bringing on Sam Vokes as they chase this game, and it's McLean who does come off this time. So Nick Powell will head across towards the far side as part of a 4-3-3 formation. More boos for McLean. Final time tonight, and Sam Vokes will come on. Another player who must be wondering why he swapped life in the Premier League for Stoke City last season when he was in the Burnley team. Now Gusted on the edge of the area for Middlesbrough, and it's jabbed away by Lindsay. And we welcome listeners to TalkSport back to the Riverside Stadium here on TalkSport 2, where Middlesbrough lead Stoke City by 2-1. It was an abysmal first half. Stoke taking the lead though 7 minutes after the break through Sam Klukas, but an outstanding header from Ashley Fletcher quickly brought Middlesbrough back into the game, and then Lewis Wing has pinged one in from 25 yards to put Middlesbrough into the lead. They now receive another yellow card, Stoke City, for Tommy Smith's challenge on Marcus Tavernier on this near side. Neil Redfern is alongside me, and just how have Stoke City capitulated?
Well, I mean, to be honest with you, you can keep blaming managers, you can keep blaming a change of what's happening, but you've got to look at the players. The players have got to sort this out. There's enough experience, there's enough quality. They look fit enough to me, but they've just down tools this second half. There's not enough character. Now, whether they think they're too good enough for this level, I don't know, but they've got to perform better than this.
Well, the evidence shows they're not. Marvin Johnson coming on for Jed Spence for Middlesbrough. This weekend, TalkSport 2 brings you Aston Villa versus Southampton in the Premier League. John Motson celebrating 50 years behind the mic. There's also live Championship Rugby Union and World Darts commentary. 5:30 tomorrow, the FIFA World Club Final. Live on TalkSport 2, Liverpool against Flamengo, and England's Cricket Tour of South Africa, exclusive to TalkSport 2, starts on Boxing Day. And you can download the app, swipe left to the orange TalkSport 2 logo and hit play. Listen online on your DOB radio or ask your smart speaker to play TalkSport 2. And Stoke have conceded another free kick on halfway, and there are a number of Stoke City players earning massive money for the Championship, massively underachieving, and they will stay in the relegation zone if they lose this game. In contrast, Middlesbrough will move 6 points clear of the drop zone before a massive game here at home to Huddersfield on Boxing Day. And when you look at this Stoke City team, it beggars belief, doesn't it?
Well, it does. But if you look at the contrast to Borough, you know, you've got a young manager, Jonathan Woodgate, you know, an inexperienced assistant, if you like, at management level in Robbie Keane. But they've been brave today. They've made the changes. The kids have been in. They've given them a positive. The goals give them a lift. They've got some confidence from it. And so Stoke have folded up. You know, I mean, you've got to have more backbone and more spirit than that.
Well, Stoke trying to build on the far side. And the Middlesbrough crowd really turned on their team early in the second half when they went a goal down, but they've played a massive part in their revival as Stoke on the edge of the Borough penalty area have it with Smith, a high cross into the penalty area towards Vokes at the far post, and it's headed away, and Gusted will try and hook the ball further clear, and Middlesbrough deal with that situation. Commentary on the conclusion of this game over on TalkSport 2 with 11 minutes to play. It's Middlesbrough 2, Stoke City 1.
I have to say, this second half's been fantastic.
Yeah,
it's been a really good.
Hopes weren't high were they coming back after half time, but I have to say that Middlesbrough have really given it a go. The Stoke goal really enlivened the place, and Middlesbrough were the team who responded. Here is Vokes on the edge of the penalty area looking to break forward, and Middlesbrough will clear. The crowd 18,270. That was tickets sold, I think. I'll be surprised if there were 18,000 people actually inside the ground, but those who are here of a Teesside persuasion will be happy they came. But for the Stoke fans on the far side who had one chance to belt out maybe one verse of Delilah between the opening two goals, it's another very grim away day, and this will be 11 away defeats so far this season. And Middlesbrough will win a game for the first time not by a single goal to nil. Now Fry with a high ball forward. Gusted flicks on. Fletcher will chase, and it's hooked away by Lindsay. And then Saville just tidies up on this near side to jab it out of play for a throw-in, which Tommy Smith will take. And it's noticeable that Michael O'Neill is inside his technical area on his own. There is nobody around him at any stage, and whether he likes it that way or whether his backroom team have got nothing to add, I'm not too sure.
Well, to be honest with you, I don't know. I mean, he must be pondering what he's got to do now to try and get something out of this side, because they've not turned up this second half.
And you can say ship him out in January, but who's going to take him on this money?
But the thing is, as well, I mean, if they were performing this badly for 90 minutes, then, you know, there's obviously something totally wrong. But to perform how they did first half, I mean, they were brilliant. They moved the ball about well. They made Borough look poor. Borough have got a young side out, but they've totally took the foot off the pedal.
Stoke have given the ball away again. Here is Fletcher coming forward, wide towards Gusted with his short sleeves and gloves on the far side wing. Infield towards Fletcher on the edge of the area. Tavernier almost pokes it back through to him, but Stoke will try and break themselves now with Ince on this near side. A body swerve to evade Coulson. Coulson though comes back with a challenge, but lovely footwork from Ince before he's dragged to the ground by Saville, and Saville will receive a yellow card. And in the midst of the second half carnage for Stoke City, Tom Ince can still produce moments like that, but he doesn't produce enough of them.
It was a brilliant piece of skill, an absolutely top class piece of skill. But you know what was more impressive to me? The three red shirts buzzing round him trying to get back. And that's why the score's 2-1 to Borough at this moment in time, because they want it a little bit more than Stoke.
It's a free kick taken by Smith, high into the penalty area, nodded down by Bart. Gregory will try and recover it. Coulson heads it back into his own box, but Tavernier will try and clear again, and we have 8 minutes to play on TalkSport 2. Middlesbrough leading by 2-1. Ince brings it forward again, challenged by Coulson. The ball ricochets off Tavernier into the path of Cousins, and the Stoke midfield has simply melted away at times in the second half. But here is Allen, leaves it for Cousins, forward towards Allen again on the edge of the area, but Wing steps in with the challenge, but Bart is there to gather, and the Middlesbrough crowd now urging their team not to drop as deep as they are at the moment. Bart.
Great play by Daniel Ayala, by the way. He's urging his back foot to get up the pitch, trying to narrow the lines, make it difficult for Stoke. That's good captaincy.
It's not as if Stoke are blessed with a massive amount of pace going up front either, are they? So
no.
Ayala steps in before Gregory to head clear, but here is Allen again. And the flick releases him from Gregory on the edge of the area. Allen with the shot, and it's just wide. Well, Joe Allen has produced 3 goals recently since the arrival of Michael O'Neill, and he recovered there some of his form during the first half, but he couldn't hit the target.
Fantastic bit of play from the little fella. Great fleet of foot, comes inside, just opens the body up, just leaning away slightly as he strikes that shot, and he just slices it wide of the far post. But better from Stoke. They need more of that positive play.
You're listening to Middlesbrough against Stoke in the Championship on TalkSport 2 with Screwfix. And if you're stuck for Christmas gift ideas, visit screwfix.com/gift card and send a Screwfix Christmas gift card today. As Pears clears long downfield, Fletcher tries to gather on the far side. It's cleared by Klukas, but a high cross delivered into the area. Gusted leaping for it, but by glancing that ball on, he took the ball away from the player who was coming in behind him, Tavernier, and it will be a goal kick for Stoke City. We have only 6 minutes of normal time to play. Middlesbrough have come from behind to lead this game by 2-1, and they'll be 6 points clear of the relegation zone. And Middlesbrough pulling clear, but in contrast, Stoke City could find themselves 5 points adrift as they head into the Christmas period.
You know, as daft as it seems, Nigel, sometimes things like this, when you get a young side out, if you can get a positive outcome from this game, like Borough have got, it's a massive fillip. Things can change off the back of it. You know, I've been in a similar situation myself at Leeds when we put the kids in. You get a couple of positive results and everything just takes off.
Now a back pass from Lindsay, which almost sold Butland short, but Gusted wasn't alive to the possibility. Bart driving forward now, but he runs into trouble, but he was caught by Fletcher, and then Bart leaves something on Tavernier as he provided the follow through after the free kick was given in his favour, and it's a free kick on halfway for Stoke. And Bart just saunters away up towards the Middlesbrough penalty area, leaving Tavernier writhing in agony on the halfway line.
Yeah, just caught him really late. I think the momentum of chasing the ball just got pushed from behind, but the momentum of the push took him into Tavernier. Tavernier's been really good today, I have to say. He's had real moments when he's picked the ball up and carried the fight for Borough. He was the one making forward runs from midfield first half when they were a little bit light. A nasty challenge from Bart.
Yeah, it was more than him just being pushed into him. I think he deliberately left something on him there.
Yeah, he did. Bit of frustration maybe.
Yeah, but you look at this Middlesbrough team: Fry 22, Tavernier 20, Coulson 21, Spence 19, Walker 19, and they've all stepped up in the second half with the help of players from the bench like Lewis Wing, another academy product. As Butland takes the free kick high into the area, headed away by Ayala, and Allen has miscontrolled, and now Cousins was trying to win the ball back and he fouled Coulson, who picked his pocket, and Cousins is doing his best to stay as far away from the referee as he can, but a free kick's been given, and I don't think that Oliver Langford, the referee, will miss the opportunity to show another yellow card, although in fairness to him, what did Cousins expect?
Yeah, it's quite a cynical challenge, to be fair. I think with the broke clear there in the foot race, I don't think Cousins would have caught him, to be honest with you, because he looks a little bit laboured at this moment in time. You could argue that it was maybe a covering defender, but it's definitely a foul.
Mame Biram Diouf is coming on for Stoke, and it's Tom Ince who heads off. It's the Senegalese international, another player they may be looking to move on during the transfer window. All of his appearances this season have come under Michael O'Neill, as Smith's clearance only puts Bart under pressure, but it's cleared away eventually by Allen. Leaping to control on his chest is Vokes, and now it's wide to this near side, and Diouf, and his first involvement is to allow the ball to roll out of play for a throw into Middlesbrough. And we have got 2 minutes of normal time to play.
Yeah, they just need to find some rhythm and some sustained pressure in that final third, Stoke, to try and get this equaliser. At this moment in time, they look like they've never played together at all.
And Tom Ince, a player who looked likely to produce a goal in the first half, has barely been near the penalty area since half-time. And he has been replaced. Another player who left the Premier League for Stoke City. And you need the right sort of players in a relegation battle. And
no, you need the right sort of people. That's what you need, mate. The players come second.
Yeah,
it's the people.
And should the people become the players and adapt to the situation they're in,
then you've got a chance.
Well, it's going to be a very important January for Michael O'Neill. But it's a difficult job when you want to bring players in. I'm sure he'll have players in mind, but he'll have two lists on a whiteboard in his office, who he wants to bring in and who he's got to get out.
Well, as daft as it seems, he'll probably have players in his mind that maybe haven't got as much ability as some of these, but will do a job and be more functional. You know, and be more of a team.
A team that won't fold when you 1-0 up away from home against one of your relegation rivals.
There's no way they should be in this position in this game.
We're inside the 90th minute on TalkSport 2. Coulson with a high ball forward into the penalty area for Middlesbrough once again. It's controlled at the far post by Johnson, but he then gives the ball away, and it's played long downfield by Stoke, but it's all pretty aimless. Saville rises above Allen to head the ball away, but then Allen wins it back from Tavernier wide towards Diouf on this near side, the right. Gregory makes the run into the penalty area. It's cut back towards Allen, but it was Fletcher who came back with a very important clearance. And here now is Johnson with a long ball over the top. Lumbering forward is Gusted. Lindsay will get there to make the challenge, and we are into 5 minutes of added time at the end of this game. Middlesbrough 2, Stoke City 1, and these are massive moments in the seasons of both clubs.
Yeah, it's great play by Fletcher. Chased all the way back into his own penalty area to make that clearance. He's having to drop in now just to make 5 in midfield for Borough. So it's up to Rudy Gusted now to turn his blood to water for the last couple of minutes, just to get Borough across the line.
Stoke City, a team who enjoyed 10 seasons in the Premier League. They finished inside the top 10 on 3 occasions, reached an FA Cup final, played in Europe, and they could be adrift once again in the relegation zone by the end of this weekend. And we're at the halfway mark. This is not an early season aberration. This is a massive issue for them.
Yeah, I tell you what happens as well, Nigel. You get to around Christmas time and just beyond, and all them sides at the bottom that are round about Stoke start picking results up, start winning.
They've got Sheffield Wednesday on Boxing Day, a team in form. They could lose that one as well.
Absolutely. They need to start getting themselves, or getting their act together now.
We played a minute of the 5 added minutes as Jack Butland looks for the hurry up on the edge of his penalty area, bowls the ball out and clears the ball downfield. He's probably the one player for Stoke you would not attach any blame to. He's made 2 brilliant saves, had no chance with either of the goals.
Well, the 2 saves that he made, mate, were absolutely world-class saves. I mean, he's done himself no harm today, but must be frustrating for him.
Yeah, I mean, I've interviewed him on many occasions on England duty. He's a good lad, and he's a player that wants to make the best of himself, and at the moment, being part of Stoke City isn't doing that for him or the club. As it's cleared away on this near side by Fry, and it will be a throw-in for Stoke City, who are running out of time here. This would be a 4th defeat in 8 games under Michael O'Neill.
Well, I tell you what, if this scoreline stays it is, what a massive pat on the back for Middlesbrough's academy, you know, to fetch these young players through. So Jonathan Woodgate can use them in a time of crisis, really, because they've got that many injured now.
Well, it's a crisis when you're 1-0 down at home in the second half to a team below you, wasn't it? And
absolutely.
They found something. Now Lindsay with a long ball forward for Stoke again. It's flicked on by Gregory, but just beyond Vokes, and it's an opportunity for Pears to just delay and pick the ball up. He Mimics to gather the ball on a couple of occasions to entice Mire Baram Diouf towards the ball, and now there are just over 2 minutes of added time to play.
I mean, I just look at that as an example, Nigel. You look at Sam Vokes, he's just been brought on as sub, been on 20 minutes perhaps. Have we mentioned him?
Never touched the ball. Welsh international, played in the Premier League, done well in the Premier League. I would imagine, I'm not singling him out because there are so many players in this position, you know, it's...
But the thing is...
Big contracts and not doing it.
But the thing is with professional football, as soon as you cross that white line, you're judged whether you've got a grievance or not. So they've got to play well.
They can't all have a grievance, surely.
No.
Now Allen on this near side, still fighting, and the ball is out of play as Saville believes he should have a free kick, but a throw-in's been given. Michael O'Neill is on the pitch to try and get the ball back, and Stoke may have one final chance. Players like Bruno Martins-Indi and Scott Hogan have been left on the bench as they chase the game. Hogan, of course, promoted last season with Sheffield United. Martins-Indi, a Dutch international, but at the moment everybody wearing a Stoke City shirt is part of the problem, and that shouldn't be ignored. Here is Lindsay though, inside the final minute of added time, headed away by Tavernier for Borough towards this near side. A high cross into the penalty area from Smith. It's met at the near post by Ayala, who falls to the ground dramatically, but he was nudged over by Bart, and it will be a free kick for Middlesbrough, and that might be that.
I'll tell you what, I think both Fry and Ayala have been outstanding at the back. You know, they're the seniors, along with Johnny Howson. You know, they're the senior players that have gone in there and stood up. And sometimes it's difficult when it's not going for you. The crowd's turned a little bit. Look at the difference in the crowd now. It's character building.
Now Gusted flicks a long ball forward in field looking for Fletcher. 3 Stoke shirts around him. It's won by Cousins. And now Lindsay wide to the far side, and Klukas. They've got to get the ball forward, but time has run out for Stoke City. It is a crucial win for Middlesbrough in the relegation battle at the bottom of the Championship. They move 6 points clear of the bottom 3, but for Stoke City, a team with many players on massive money, it's another defeat on the road. They have a massive problem to solve, not just in January, but in the season as a whole, because a side who regarded themselves a very short time ago as an established Premier League club are slipping towards League One, make no doubt about it. Full time at the Riverside, Middlesbrough 2, Stoke City 1.